I hope this video has helped you out. I hope it's Welcome back, folks. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope you are keeping fit and well out there and you are staying motivated even though those nights have drawn in and it is getting a bit darker and colder out there. Talking about the clocks going back and the weather changing, we thought it was perfect time to bring you Run4Adventure's waterproof running jacket buying guide. It's definitely been jacket weather down here in Cornwall over the last couple of weeks, and actually as I speak it is absolutely chucking it down with rain outside. But I also did a poll on YouTube and a running waterproof jacket buying guide came out on top by some margin. Our buying guides are proved pretty popular on the channel at the moment, so if you haven't seen our other guides where we feature running head torches and running packs and hydration vests, I've left links in the description below so you can check them out. Waterproof running jackets are a thing we get asked about all the time at the channel. There is lots and lots of options out there, different brands, different models. They come in all different shapes and sizes and colours. So we thought a running waterproof jacket buying guide would be really helpful and it might make things a little bit less confusing. So the first thing we're going to do is go into a bit more detail about how these waterproof running jackets are constructed, what things like tape seams and hydrostatic ratings actually mean, and then we're going to highlight a few things that we feel are definitely worth looking out for when it comes to your waterproof jacket, and maybe a few of the things that you can do without. Over the years I've run in lots of different jackets, especially when I started doing the long trail running stuff about 12 years ago. That's where you definitely want a quality waterproof jacket in your race vest. Now, some of those jackets have performed really well and some have been pretty disappointing if I'm honest. So let's dive into the video and talk all about waterproof jacket jargon and how they're constructed. I get asked in store all the time about tape seams, breathability, waterproof rating. So let's start at the top with tape seams first, and that basically means exactly what it says it is. So for a running jacket to be waterproof, you have to have heat sealed tape on those internal seams in the jacket. As you can imagine, that seam is a weak point, and if you haven't got tape internally on those seams, then water is definitely going to penetrate. You can have the best waterproof fabric in the world, but if you haven't got tape seams, you're definitely getting wet. The second most popular question we get asked is, what does hydrostatic rating mean? Now, basically the hydrostatic rating just shows how waterproof that jacket is going to be, and it is measured using the hydrostatic head test, which ensures that that garment is going to meet British standard, which are 1500 millimeters when it comes to waterproof rating. That test is carried out by getting the waterproof fabric, pulling it tight across the bottom of a 1-inch diameter sealed tube of water. They then observe that water for 24 hours and ascertain how many millimeters of water that fabric can withstand until it gets soaked through. The moment that water penetrates the fabric is the hydrostatic head. So basically, the higher the hydrostatic rating, the more protection you're going to get from your waterproof jacket when you're out there running in harsh weather conditions. So like I mentioned earlier, 1500 millimeters is the basic requirement when it comes to a waterproof jacket here in the UK. But this is definitely not a good enough rating when it comes to our running waterproof jackets. Number one, a jacket rated as low as that, any period of time out there running in strong winds and rain, you are going to be soaked through in a matter of minutes. And two, 1500 millimeters on the hydrostatic rating isn't going to pass any mandatory kit check in any race here in the UK or overseas. Most races nowadays ask you to carry a jacket of at least 10,000 millimeters or even 15,000 millimeters at some. So I would definitely take this into consideration and be on the safe side and always go for a jacket that's at least 10,000 millimeters when it comes to the hydrostatic rating. Next up is breathability, and this is always a hot topic of debate when it comes to our running waterproof jackets, or should I say the lack of breathability is actually the issue. But we really have to be realistic here. We are putting on a waterproof sealed jacket to protect us from the elements, so we're always going to lose a bit of breathability when you compare it to, say, running in a technical tee or vest. But some fabrics and some jackets definitely perform better in this department. There's lots of things to look out for when buying your running waterproof jacket that really help with breathability. So we're going to go into those in a bit more detail later in the video. When it comes to waterproof jacket construction, there tends to be three major types. The first one being a 2-layer jacket, and this combines a fully waterproof outer shell with an inner lining layer membrane. You can also get a 2.5-layer waterproof jacket. This has the same components of the jacket before, but you also get an additional third inner polyurethane coating. This coating acts as a barrier and helps to protect the breathability of that jacket by stopping dirt and sweat damaging the inner material. I'd say that the 2.5-layer jackets are probably the most common when it comes to running waterproof jackets. The reason being is they're going to offer you really good levels of protection against the elements, but they're going to be lightweight, breathable and very packable. And lastly, you have the all singing, all dancing, triple layered waterproof jacket. We are seeing more and more brands going for this option in the running sector, and that's because it's going to offer you the highest levels of protection and breathability. It consists of an external waterproof fabric layer, an internal waterproof and breathable membrane, and then we have that additional bonded protection lining. These three layers are then sandwiched together to leave you with a technically efficient, one-layered, super lightweight waterproof jacket. With lots of waterproof jackets out there from lots of different brands and companies, from 10,000 millimeters up to 35,000 millimeters and above when it comes to the hydrostatic rating, it can get pretty confusing, and also every runner's needs differ. So if you're the type of runner that's looking for a waterproof jacket just to have if you've got to go outside and the rain is coming down heavy, you're not going to be out there for any longer than an hour, then you probably don't need the level of protection that, say, a shake-dry Gore-Tex jacket's going to give. But if you're running long ultras, you're doing long training runs out in all kinds of weather, you want a jacket that's going to offer you the highest level of protection, but it's also going to be super lightweight and it's going to pack down nice and small in your race vest, then something like a shake-dry Gore-Tex jacket is probably going to fit the bill. So now we're going to run through some features that might be worth looking out for when it comes to making that all-important waterproof jacket purchase. These are features that over the years of running in lots of different types of jackets, whether it be out on long training runs on the Cornish coast path or topping out a summit at UTMB in challenging conditions, that I've found to be really helpful. So let's talk all about fit first, and this is something that gets quite often forgotten about when it comes to purchasing a running waterproof jacket. The fit is so important because it can really affect how that jacket performs when you're running out there in tough conditions. So the first thing we want to look out for is we want the body of the jacket very fitted. The last thing you want is it flapping around, acting like a windbreak when you're out there running in tough conditions. But we want to have plenty of movement in the shoulders for arm swing. You know, the last thing we want to do is feel constricted in the shoulders of our jacket. Remember, we're going to be running that jacket with a long sleeve tee underneath or a technical long sleeve base layer, so always take that into consideration when you're trying a jacket on. The sleeve length of your jacket is just as important, so the last thing we want in our waterproof jackets is sleeves that are too long, because what's going to happen is you're going to gather those sleeves up. Those sleeves are going to then form creases, and as the water runs down the jacket, you're going to get a sort of pooling effect of the rainwater in those creases. What that will lead to is that rainwater penetrating the jacket and the jacket getting wetted out. So really important to get those sleeve lengths right. Don't get me wrong, we don't want those sleeves too short, but we definitely don't want them too long either. Moving on to the hood, and the first thing you need to make sure is that your running waterproof jacket actually has one. Again, it is a mandatory requirement for most ultra marathons nowadays, so if you plan on using your waterproof jacket to run ultras, you're definitely going to need a hood. Always try and get some form of adjustment on that hood so you can get that pulled in nice and tight around your face, offering you maximum protection, but also stopping it catching the wind and getting blown off your head. Other hood features to look out for are some hoods come with like a wired peak or a stiff peak like you get on this Say Sky jacket, which can be really useful, and some will offer you the ability to stow that hood away in the collar or inside the jacket. I personally don't think these two things are deal breakers, but you definitely want some adjustment on the hood. Next up is packability. Now, if you're using your running waterproof jacket on the odd occasional wet training run, you're not having to stow it away into a running belt or pack it down nice and small so that it fits inside your race vest as part of your mandatory kit, then this probably doesn't matter. But if you are wanting to stow that jacket away, then packability is super important. At the end of the day, a lot of these races want us to carry a lot of mandatory kit nowadays for our own safety, of course, but the last thing you want is to be carrying a heavy, bulky jacket that's going to be taking up all the room in your race vest. Some of the 3-layer jackets in the past would offer great levels of protection, but they could be quite heavy and quite bulky and quite hard to pack down small, so they'd end up taking quite a lot of room up when it came to your race vest or running pack. But what we are seeing now with jacket and fabric technology moving on, you can actually now get a 3-layer jacket, say for instance like Say Sky's new Element waterproof running jacket that is going to give you that great 3-layer protection, but it's super light, highly breathable, and it still packs down nice and small, so it won't take up too much room. So kind of getting the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, you do tend to find that that technology comes at a pretty steep price, and this jacket is no exception. So your 2.5-layer waterproof jackets tend to still offer great protection against the wind and rain, but they come at a bit more of an affordable price. They still tend to be lightweight in design, and they will pack down nice and tightly, so they're not going to take up much room when it comes to your mandatory kit. Just one second. Always a popular topic for conversation is breathability when it comes to our running waterproof jackets. I've personally found over the years that some fabrics and some jackets just perform a lot better in this department. For instance, my Ron Hill Shake Dry Gore-Tex jacket has to be one of the most breathable waterproof running jackets I've ever used. I've done lots of long sort of 4 or 5 hour efforts out on the coast path in shocking weather conditions, and when I get to the end of those training runs, I'm still nice and warm and dry. And then my buff waterproof jacket can be like running in a bin bag sometimes, depending on the weather conditions. So the things to look for in your running waterproof jackets are external ventilation, so like vents across the shoulders, and we're even seeing pit zips crossing over into running waterproof jackets now, like on the new Exmoor jacket soon to be released from Harrier, and on Say Sky's new waterproof jacket. So we've got those pit zips under the arms just for a bit of extra ventilation. Something as simple as the little press stud feature that you get on the Ron Hill Gore-Tex Shake Dry jacket. I'm sure they stole it from Salomon, but it is a pretty good feature. Really, really simple, but very effective when it comes to ventilation. So if you're running in your jacket, you feel you're getting a bit too warm, you can unzip it, pop that press stud closed, and then it stops that jacket filling up with wind and becoming a parachute. Another top tip is when you're running in your waterproof jacket, always wear a good quality long sleeve tee or a long sleeve base layer underneath. The worst thing you can do is put that jacket on over a short sleeve tee against bare skin, because you're just going to get super hot, really clammy and really sweaty inside the jacket, and you're going to get just as soaked through if you hadn't worn the jacket in the first place. Another thing that we're seeing more and more of nowadays when it comes to running waterproof jacket technology is jackets having pleats down the back. Just one second and I'll explain. So like on the new Exmoor jacket from Harrier, we've got a pleated back. So what that basically allows you to do is get the jacket, grab it out, put it on over your running pack or your race vest. So brilliant if it is a short, sharp shower. You can get protected from them elements really, really quickly. But the other bonus is putting it over your pack also waterproofs all that mandatory kit that you're carrying in your pack, so it keeps it nice and dry and protected from the weather. A great little feature. I personally feel there's a lot of great waterproof jackets out there nowadays, but it really does come down to what you're going to be using your jacket for. It can be a bit of a minefield, especially if you're new to the whole running waterproof scene. So I hope this video has helped. break down some of the jargon surrounding running waterproof jackets, and it's also highlighted some of the things to look out for. So moving on with a quick conclusion, and I think you definitely get what you pay for when it comes to the running waterproof jacket world. Some of them really cheap jackets, they're not going to offer you a good level of protection, and they're not going to be very durable either. Don't get me wrong, you don't need to spend a small fortune, but investing in a good quality jacket from an established brand is definitely going to benefit you in the long run, if you'll excuse the pun. Obviously, there are exceptions to this rule. Take, for instance, the Exmoor jacket from Harrier that I've been testing for some time now. This comes with a 15,000mm waterproof rating. It is extremely breathable, but it is also packed full of great features. So we got pit zips for extra ventilation. We got a 3-way adjustable hood. You've got silicone grippers on the shoulders for when you're running with a running pack, and we've got thumb loops. We've also got that great press stud feature that I love on my Ron Hill waterproof jacket. We got lots of storage options as well, including a nice big pocket on the lower back which the jacket actually folds away into, and obviously you can wear it under or over a running vest like I am wearing it now. As far as I know, it is going to retail in the UK for under 100 quid at only £89, which is incredible value as always from Harrier Trail. We're going to be doing a full in-depth review on the Exmoor jacket on the channel very soon, and they should be available for pre-sale on the 26th of November on the Harrier website. I don't know if any of you eagle-eyed Harrier fans have spotted that I am rocking the brand new Kinder 10 litre vest in this rather fetching black and red colourway. We just managed to get hold of one at the channel, going to be testing it over the next few weeks, and then we'll be bringing you guys a full review. Again, they should be available on the Harrier website for pre-sales on the same date, the 26th of November, so just in time for Christmas. I would always recommend going for the highest waterproof rating that your budget will allow. Minimum requirement, definitely 10,000mm or above if you can stretch to it. Another thing worth mentioning is these super stripped back lightweight running jackets you see that are kind of designed just to tick that mandatory kit requirement. You've got to ask yourself, is it going to offer you the level of protection when that weather turns and you really need it? Or, heaven forbid, you have an accident, you're not moving, you're sitting still, and you could be waiting for several hours for help to reach you. I personally want a jacket that's going to tick those mandatory requirements, but it's also going to offer me high levels of protection when needed. I've gone down that super lightweight stripped back path before, and when I pulled the jacket out and when it was needed in some pretty terrible weather conditions, I was pretty much soaked through in under 30 minutes. Luckily, I was running well, I was moving at speed, so that kept me warm, but if I'd had an accident and I had to stop, I would have got cold and I would have been in trouble pretty quick. So that is a wrap on another buying guide at Run4Adventure. Really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to go and check out our other buying guides that we recently uploaded on the channel, featuring running packs and hydration vests and running head torches. If you have any other questions related to running waterproof jackets, please feel free to get in the comments and we'll try and get back to you and help the best we can. I mentioned it earlier that we've got a review coming on Harrier's new Exmoor waterproof jacket. Really excited to bring you that. Great quality at a really affordable price. But we've also got a review on the way of Say Sky's new Element 3L waterproof running jacket. It's the first time that the Say Sky have made one, so really excited to bring you those two reviews. If you found the buying guide helpful, guys, and you know what to do, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when we upload any new content. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. It's always appreciated. We will see you back here very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running.